Hey crafty friends, this is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be making a layout with this bright and fun wild berry paper. This is a current special that's going on until the end of April, and there's exclusive pattern papers. There's this beautiful sticker sheet that has kind of those raised shiny areas on it from the UV coating. You can see there's a good variety of patterns, some subtle ones, some more bold patterns. And I think I'm going to end up using the big chevron design for my background today. Go-to for backgrounds on layouts is definitely white cardstock, so this is going to be something totally different for me. I also wanted to show you the specialty cardstock that comes in this collection. There's some UV resist, there's foil patterns. I really wanted to use some on this layout, but with that nice background, I just didn't find a place for it. I had originally debated making this a 2-page layout because I wanted to put little 3x4 photos all the way across, like 5 or 6 of them, so they would span between the left page and the right page. But I just didn't have enough photos that all went together. Some of those are from different time periods and my daughter's different ages. So I decided instead just to stick with the 2 photos and do a 1-page layout. Once I decided that, I thought maybe I should switch the direction of the chevron arrows. And I'm really happy that I decided to do that. I like the flow of this page a lot better. I cut photo mats at 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 from that UV coated cardstock, so it has a very subtle pattern to it. I knew I wanted to have a fairly big title on this page since I just had 2 smaller photos. So I cut this out on my Cricut. I used the UV coated cardstock in green apple that was on special last month, and then just white cardstock on top of that. This really cute font is called Baby Dolfin, and I downloaded it from Creative Fabrica, and then I used the offset feature to create that nice shadow for my green cardstock. I wanted to do some ink distressing on this page, so I grabbed my mini ink blending tool and my Distress Oxide in black soot, and I'm just doing the edges of my photo mat, and I'm also going to do the edges of my base paper. This layout is about my daughter and my husband, so since I'm going with so much pink, I thought I would grunge it up a little bit with some ink. I almost always work on top of my Versamat, so I'm grabbing that to help me line everything up. And I'm just going to set out my photos here and my title because I want to make sure I have my spacing right. I was looking for a stencil in my stash that was kind of pixely or something that would go along with video games. So I found this checkered one. It's a really old Prima stencil, and I'm just going to use my photos to figure out where I want this to be. I just want it poking out from behind my photos, and I'm just adding a light layer of ink. And as I get to the edge of that stencil, I'm making sure that most of the ink is off of my blending tool, and I'm not pressing too hard because I want that ink to just kind of fade off. I'm using this stenciled area to kind of ground my photos and add an extra layer to the background without adding any extra paper or dimension or anything, but it just kind of draws the eye into my focal point, which is my photos. That big chevron design in the background is also like a big arrow pointing towards my photos. So that's why I put them at the bottom with the arrows pointing down towards them. This checkered design is super easy to reline up. So as I need to move it around my page and extend the area that's getting stenciled, I just look for an area that I've already done, and that helps me get it all nice and lined up. Next up, I wanted to bring in more of that gaming theme. So I'm flipping my Versamat over to the spongy side, and I have some black cardstock that I'm using my anti-static powder tool on. And then I'm grabbing this Level Up Stamp and Thin Cut set. It's a really great set. It has some fun sayings that go along with gaming. It has 4 different kinds of game controllers. So no matter what system the person you're creating a card or layout for uses, you should be able to find a controller to match with that. And I'm just going to stamp it here on the black using Versamark, and then I'm going to white heat emboss it. I ended up using 2 of the Xbox controller, 1 of the PlayStation, and 1 of the Nintendo. because over time, my husband has had all of the different systems at one point or another. He currently games on a PC, so there is no stamp for that one, but he has had all of these systems in the past. I did end up with a little bit of embossing powder where I didn't want it, but I just cleaned it up with a little detail paintbrush, and that was totally fine. As long as you remove any excess powder before you start heat setting, you're okay. Once you get it heat set on there, it's not coming off. I love kind of the sketchy shading lines that are on these controllers. I had debated coloring them, but I figured I'd show you an option in case you don't enjoy coloring. I really like coloring and I do it a lot. I actually have some cards right now up on my Instagram that show these controllers all colored up with the tri-blend markers. But in case you don't enjoy that, you can do something like this and just heat emboss them. Now I'm just lining the thin cut dies up over top of my stamped images and then holding it in place with washi tape. I don't have a lot of luck to die cut them first and then stamp, especially with Versamark. I love how these turned out embossed with the white on the black. You could even emboss them white on top of different colors if you wanted to, but I really like the black. It's a good contrast to all the bright pink and the green. I decided to put one of the controllers as part of my title because I had that kind of weird gap, and now I wanted to add some kind of fake cord, if you will. I know most controllers are wireless now, but once upon a time you actually had to be plugged into the system to use your controller. So I thought this would be a cool element to use on the page and just kind of help tie everything together. I just have black baker's twine. It's solid. It doesn't have the white and black. And then I'm just kind of laying it around my page and creating little loops with it. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, if you could hit that like button, it really helps me out and lets YouTube know that they should show this to more people. I thought my page needed some more green, so I grabbed some white cardstock, some green apple ink, and then the Level Up stamp set. I'm using this saying that says, eat, sleep, game, repeat. And I'm just stamping on white, and then I'm going to cut it into strips. The reason I decided to use green as an accent color on this page is that in the picture, I don't think you guys can really see it, but the keyboard is glowing green, and there's also green on the TV screen. So I thought it would look really good with this bright fuchsia color to have some bright green. I inked up the edges of those strips with the black ink again, and then I'm using my glue to go around and just tack down all of that twine. I'm not putting glue on every spot of it. I'm just going here and there, and especially where the loops are, and adding a couple little drops of glue and pushing the twine into it. I did glue down the rest of my pieces off camera because I figured you guys didn't need to see that. My photos are down flat. Those strips on the left-hand side are down flat. But I did use foam dots on my title and that one controller just to add a little bit of dimension. I decided I wanted to add a few more embellishments, so I grabbed the white acrylic hearts and I'm just going to cluster them in different sizes and different designs all around my kind of bottom third of the page here. And I thought about going with black, and then I decided against it because I don't want them to really stand out too much. I have a lot of like black and high contrast going on already, so I thought the white would be a little bit more subtle and still add some interest. I attached all those hearts with micro glue dots, which works great, and then I grabbed my Archival ink and the Level Up stamp from that stamp set, and I'm stamping it for the first time in first generation ink, so full black, and then I'm doing the second generation stamp over there. And then I just kind of kept stamping. Ended up filling in that whole area with that saying and kind of makes it become more of the background at that point. I started looking at this and I was like, you know what? I need to have more of that stenciling. So I went back and I was able to line up the little squares and just extend the stenciling a little bit farther. I love these pictures so much. I hope you guys can see in there that my daughter, right when she was a newborn, was laying on my husband's legs while he was playing games. He used to do that all the time when she was little, and he would just kind of like shake his legs up and down and rock her to sleep, and she would sleep while he played games. I wanted to add a little something at the top of the layout, and I knew I needed a spot for journaling as well. So I'm adding some more stenciling at the top here. I kind of went across first just in a line, and then I went back and added a little bit more to make it a little bit more uneven and organic looking. I was also thinking I need another point of green on this layout because I have two kind of bold areas of the green accent color, and I thought if I add a strip of that green cardstock along the top, that'll kind of be my third point to add green. I'm also adding in some more of those white hearts, and I'm going to stamp Game On beside those hearts as well. So I stamped off screen, and I also wrote my journaling. I was trying to decide if I should write on the white chevrons or beside them. I had too much journaling to write right on the chevron shapes, so the journaling is just kind of nestled in beside the lines, and as I bring it closer here, you should be able to see it. For my journaling, I just told the story that I already told you guys in this video. I always try and think about if I was showing someone this page, what is it that I would tell them about it? And that's what I put in my journaling. If you guys are thinking that you're enjoying this wild berry color, Close to My Heart has the stamp pad, the shimmer brush, other coordinating embellishments in this color on sale until the end of April. I will have all the links for this special, the pattern paper I used, the stamp set, everything down in the description box for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe, and I will see you next time.